A long time ago, there was a kind emperor who rules the lands of China. One day, the kingdom was invaded by enemies. When the king was on the verge of defeat, the celestial dragon appeared to the emperor and offered him his source of power, the dragon pearl. With this pearl, the 300 remaining warriors of the emperor transformed into an army of 3,000 warriors. The emperor was victorious, but the pearl was lost while in battle. His failure of returning the pearl made him sick and he passed. The dragon has still been looking for its missing pearl so it can return home. Back to the present, a group of robbers are trying to steal a box from a man's house. His name is Chris. He catches up to them before they get a chance to leave. The robbers end up fighting with Chris over that box. The fight continues outside, but when Chris's friend Philip comes, the robbers run away. The next day, a plane lands. At the airport, Josh looks at a girl by the name of Ling who keeps laughing while reading a book. She then hearing a flute sound but then doesn't notice anything. Ling's mom then finally comes to her arms. She then introduces herself to Josh saying she works with his father. She introduces her daughter Ling. Josh gets a little sad realizing his dad couldn't make it and sent Ling's mom, Lee. During the car ride, Ling hears the flute again but she is the only one who hears it. The trio then arrive to Josh's father Chris, who is explaining to the police what happened last night. Chris then hugs Josh, extremely happy for him to be here. He also introduces his archaeologist partner Philip. Josh wonders if what happened last night was because of a treasure. Philip gives him a little laugh. Josh is then shown his room by Xing, Chris's worker. He immediately realizes his door is connected to Ling's room. She locks the door. The next day, Josh wakes up to Xing who picks him to drive to Chris's site where many workers are uncovering some monuments from the past. They are archaeologists. Chris is having a meeting with Lee and Philip. At this moment, a man named Nay bursts into the research site. He escorted out. Ling realizes he forgot his flute, so she runs to give it back to him. Josh follows her. Meanwhile, the team finally opens the monument they have been trying to reach. They then follow him to a temple while Chris, Phillips and Lee finally go in the monument to explore. At this moment, Ling and Josh catch up to Nay. She returns him the flute and he is shocked. He thanks her saying that this flute is very important. Josh then wants to come back but Ling continues talking with Nay. Nay reveals that in the entire world only one person can hear this flute. He is shocked learning Ling can hear this flute. He reveals to her only the dragon and the chosen one can hear this flute. Nay then immediately grabs her hand and drags her inside the temple. Josh, who thinks it's a bad idea, follows them. Once inside, Nay reveals his family has been looking over this dragon temple for over 3,000 years. Meanwhile, Chris, Lee and Philip arrive a huge door and they celebrate. They finally found what they have been looking. While Nay reveals the chosen one is a descendant of the emperor. Josh doubts it's Ling and doesn't believe this story. But Nay tells them only the chosen one can open the door. But he doesn't know where is the door. But with Josh's help, they locate a corner. Ling kneels down and door opens in the floor. Nay is so happy that after 3,000 years a descendant of the emperor finally opened the door. He is so excited that he pushes Ling in by mistake. Josh goes after her. Together they decide to explore the underground. Ling then notices something moving. A dragon is moving in the shadows and makes a noise. Ling falls and knocks herself unconscious. Josh brings her back to Chris and the others. He keeps telling his father there is a monster down there but he doesn't believe him. Josh then begs Ling, who wakes up, to tell everyone everything. But she says she doesn't remember what happened. Chris then takes his son aside saying it sounds crazy the story he is saying. Josh is pissed. Philip suggests Chris listen to his son. And the next day, Josh brings them to the temple to show them. But once there, Josh can't find Nay. Josh starts explaining what happened but they look him like he is crazy. Josh then notices Nay swiping. He comes to him but Nay acts like he doesn't know Josh. Chris and Phillips apologize for bothering. Chris then takes Josh aside wondering what's going with him recently. The next day, everyone is back at the archaeologist site. Ling apologizes to Josh but she tells him she couldn't tell them what happened. Ling believes the thing in the cave may be a trick. She doesn't think she is the chosen one. This pisses Josh off. Meanwhile, Chris and his team are analyzing a new piece they found. Josh realizes something while looking at it. Phillips takes notice of that. That same night, everyone is out and Ling hears the flute again. Nei then appears out of nowhere and takes Ling aside. He tells her the dragon will tell you what it wants. Later that night, Ling can't sleep, she keeps noticing dragon hallucinations. She then tells Josh she is going back to the temple, she wants him to come. The next day, both bike back to the temple. Once arrived, Nei is in tears thanking her. Josh and Ling then heads underground again. At this moment, the dragon shows up in front of them. Both are amazed. Ling translates that the dragon never encountered a Western boy before and wonders what is he. Ling then wonders where is its pearl, that all dragon have it, that's where their power come from. Ling keeps and realizes she is floating. Josh grabs here and they are both being pushed up in the air. Nei is in disbelief when he notices the dragon in the air with Ling and Josh. The dragon then flies them through the mountains. Josh and Ling realize they are flying as well, they are mesmerized. The narrator then reminds us of the story from the beginning, but adds that this may not be the truth. The emperor didn't pass from heartbreak of the pearl missing, he was eliminated in battle and the pearl was not lost. What happened is after the emperor passed, his daughter was angry and blamed the dragon and its pearl for what happened to her father. To punish the dragon, she ordered the pearl to be buried with her father. She then told the scribes to rewrite the story, the ones we know, that the pearl was lost. This has been passed down through history. And all this time, the dragon has been waiting to be reunited with its missing pearl and return home. Ling and Josh come back to the temple and tells Nei what they learned. Nei then reminds her they must return the pearl to the dragon. Both then go back to the monument and Ling tells the entire story to her mother who gets her examined by a doctor. No one believes her. Josh also adds that she is right. Chris had enough and tells his son to stop this nonsense. This entire time Philip keeps looking at Josh and Ling, like he knows something. He takes Josh aside after hearing he wants to get into the tomb. He decides to help him. He then gives him details on how to access that box they found. That same night, Josh sneaks into the room where it's kept. Ling finds him there. He gets the box and both heads. When arriving, Philip notices them. He distracts the guards so the kids can sneak in. They then go inside the monument. They put the box in the gigantic door and opens. Ling then finds the emperor's tomb. After that, they put the piece they found and another door opens. This time it's the pearl. They found it. Ling is in tears. The cage opens and the pearl is in front of them. Ling takes it and puts it in the bag. At this moment, Philip enters with the two robbers. He wants to pearl. He reveals he has been working behind Chris and Lee's back. Josh wants to run away and they attack them. But Josh and Ling are able to run away. The men follow them. At this moment, Chris and Lee realizes the lies of Philip. They go search for the kids. They head to the site and finds guards tied up, saying it was Philip. The kids then arrive to the temple. But before Ling can go inside the underground, Philip and his men arrive and snatch the bag from them. Nei then arrives to help and fight the two men. At this moment, Chris and Lee arrive to the temple. Philip takes Josh hostage. He then gets the pearl. Nei comes to attack but Philip uses the power of the pearl to hurt him. The dragon feels it and gets on his way. Ling then snatches the pearl from Philip. Philip goes after her but Chris knocks him out. Ling then falls but the dragon saves her as it appears in front of them all. Ling then gives the dragon its pearl. After thousands of years, the dragon is finally himself. Chris can't believe what he is witnessing. The dragon then disappears and finally goes home. The police then arrives and arrest Philip. Chris then promises to Josh to never not believing ever again. He is proud of his son. He welcomes him to the team to join them in their researches. The movie ends with Nei playing the flute at the temple and now he can hear it too.